So, can you introduce yourself and your title?
Yes, my name is Lauren Rosenberg and I'm the head of the Museum of Rapid and want to show you around.
So, the new stadium, you incorporated the museum, and it's quite obvious from the short time I've been here and speaking to the staff and fans that Rapid fans seem to have a very well-developed sense of their history and how they see the club. So in here I believe you've got three main themes that you like to develop.
Yes, the whole museum is separated in three parts. We have united, we have fighting, and we have winning, because we always say Rapid is built from a working class club, and being united, being together is very important for us. Then we have to fight from the first to the last minute, we the fans and also the players. And then together we can win the game, and that's why it's united, fighting and winning.
Okay. Yeah. Go off again. One of the interesting things about the museum here, it's not a traditional museum, I think, in the British sense. It's not a trophy room.
Yes.
Could you explain the concept of that to us?
The idea of the Rapideum is that we don't just want to talk about the big success. There is place for that, but we also want to talk about other things. We want really to tell the story of Rapid and what defines Rapid, what makes the Rapid fan and the Rapid family, as we say it. And that's more important for us than just to show some trophies we won in the last 120 years. But of course you can find them as well. For example, the oldest one is right here from the year 1902, the oldest trophy we still have.
So that's 1902 is the oldest trophy, and it's quite an unusual setup you have here. Could you, when people come in, thankfully most of your exhibits are bilingual in German and English, so what's this section here?
Yeah. Well, wherever you go you can find something written on the wall, and then you can open it. So for example, you can find some more informations to those topics, and the most important texts are also translated in English. And right here also is a very important thing for us. It's the old watch from not a founding father, but a really important guy. He was coach from 1910 to 1938, and in his time we've been champion 12 times, cup winner 3 times, and also won the Mitropa Cup, which was the first international club competition.
One of the things that obviously, although I think Rangers fans have been very impressed by your supporters and the club, and I would certainly say the operation of the club during the first half at Ibrox. What we're not so impressed about is these green and white hoops. Has green and white always been the club's colours?
No, when we started in 1897 we did start with another name. It was first Viennese Working Class Club, and then 2 years later we changed to Sportclub Rapid, and we started with the colors red and blue. 1906 we changed the colors to green-white, because it was the colors of the district we were playing back then.
Now the stadium, you've moved around a few, and this is one of your old stadiums. You've had a couple of different ones. There's a model. This would be what? The title is stadium. This would be your longest kind of longest home.
That's the so-called Tarwiese. And when you come to Hütteldorf, it's very close to the new stadium, about 500 meters, and there's also a little monument at the place where it was before, and it's also English and German, so you can visit it. And so the stadium had a capacity of about 25,000 people, but at the biggest games about 30,000 have been there. For example, in the first European Cup season, Rapid was one of the 16 teams playing there, and in the second game we played against Milan, and there were about 30,000 people coming here, and we've been very successful here. From the 32 championships Rapid won, 25 have been on the Tarwiese. And that's a place we really loved, and we really played for a long time, from 1912 to 1978.
So we move through the museum, and obviously there's various exhibits that people can come and see, and as you say, rather cleverly inserted into the walls. There are more exhibits that aren't on display. There are drawers, there are old photographs, etc.
Yeah, this would be the next stadium. This is the Gerd Hanapi Stadium. It was named after one of our most successful players, Gerd Hanapi. Gerd Hanapi was champion with Rapid 7 times, and he also was part of the FIFA team 1953, which was the best players in the world back then, and he's been in there with two other Rapid players, Walter Zehmann, who was in the goal, was the goalkeeper, and also Ernst Happel, who was defender, and is more well known as a coach later on for HSV and so on. But he started here with just a little boy, young boy, and then did explore the whole wide world.
Well, happy to report we've actually got a piece of Rangers history in the Rapid Museum as well. So if you could explain to us what's going on here. One of the displays has got a banner from a game.
Yes,
back in the 60s.
in 1964, Rapid and the Rangers met the last time in the European Cup, and it was a period where, well, to be honest, I guess for Rangers and Rapid it was a better time on a sports level. And about 70,000 people came to the nowadays so-called Ernst Happel Stadium. Back then it was just Rapideum for the location where it is, and 70,000 fans. That's the most fans that have ever been at the Rapid match in the Rapideum, and so that's why this picture and the story is a historical moment for us. And the fans were very enthusiastic, but the problem is that the Rangers came to the next stage and not Rapid.
Well, we do have a bit of joint history. Also, we were rather amused to find in the Kampfen section, which is the fighting section. It's part of the, if you could almost say, the mantra of Rapid. It's one very important that the fans expect from the team. They expect them to play in a certain way. It's the ethos of the club. So you played another team in green and white back in '84. I remember there was a replay, because I remember very vividly when I was at college, there were quite a number of Celtic fans didn't turn up that day, and they went down to Manchester and came back with their tails between their legs, I'm happy to report. But as well as that, you had a little bit of a revival of your original colours going on at that game.
Yes, we played against Celtic in '84 in European Cup. We came very far until the final. We lost the final against Everton later on 3-1. But we had our problems with Celtic. One problem was the color, because of course we wanted to play in green-white, but we couldn't. So when we played in Glasgow, we had to search something else, and it was the first time we did play in blue again since our founding times. Then at the second game we choose the color red, because we did hope that when we play in Manchester, some United fans will cheer for us as well when we play in red. And so that's kind of the story how red and blue came back as a color for the jersey, because now we, for example, our away kit is in red and blue again.
Well, that might be, I think you might get a few sales out of the away kit, but sadly not the first team. I would say this is, in this section you have to say this is something I think we'd associate rather more with German fans. It's than Austrian fans, but it's obviously part of the football culture down here. The
so-called Kutte in Germany. In Austria, in Vienna, we say Dacken. It's a very specific Viennese word, and we have some things like that as well. And you can also see here the oldest green and white scarf we have. It's a remain of European Cup night, when fans moved to Manchester United, against Manchester United in 1969. They did see, they all have scarves in the club colors, and a fan took this red and white one with him, and then he made his own version, this one, and that's the oldest green and white fanscarf we know, and it's here as well as a lot of parts of our fan history as well, because today we are a fan club. We live from our fans. All over Europe, they know Rapid is a team with a lot of fans, with very enthusiastic fans, very loud fans. Although sometimes the team can't be on this high level with the fans, or it's hard very often. But fans are very important for us.
Here we are in the final section of the museum, Siegen, victory, because it is important that, whilst I think the way a lot of people see their clubs is, it's tied up with memories and, great times with your friends and family. But, if you're serious about sport, you do want to win. And that is very much, it's a hard ethos, but it's very necessary in large football clubs. So in here you've got a marriage of old cups, great players. What would be your favourite piece in here?
My favourite piece in here is over here. It's a section for winning the Mitropa Cup in 1930, because back then Viennese football was one of the strongest all over Europe. In 1933, for example, we've been in Britain, Great Britain, for the first time. We played against Liverpool, we lost. We played against Leicester City, we won, and we played against the Rangers, and it was a 3-3, and it was a very big thing. And the newspapers in Glasgow said, well, the Viennese players are showing how Scottish football should look like, and stuff like that. And that was really a big thing. So 1930s have been a big time for Rapid, and in 1930 we won the Mitropa Cup, which was the first international cup between clubs from different countries. In the founding times it was clubs from Vienna, from Czechoslovakia, from Hungary, and from Yugoslavia. And doesn't sound like the big teams today, like the big European teams today, but back then it was really on a high level. The Viennese teams have been, or the Viennese league was the third league worldwide which had professional clubs after Scotland and England. And that was really a strong time for us. And so in 1930 we've been on top of Europe, if you want to say it like that, and that's a memory for this specific cup.
So if we finish off now, thanks very much for the tour. I think even in the short time we've been here, definitely have got the idea of how the club sees itself, how they've tried to involve the fans and even the redesign of the stadium. So if Rangers fans are coming over, maybe they've got a couple of days to visit around Vienna, can they get into the museum? Is it open every weekday, or how do they get here?
It's open all days long, from Monday to Saturday, and also on match day, beginning 10 in the morning until 18 o'clock. And you might be interested in joining a tour, a guided tour. They're on Fridays on a regular basis, but I would recommend to book it in